From downtown Scranton, this is Northeast Current. WQPX invites you to join us as we explore public affairs, current events, and arts and culture in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Now, let's meet today's guests on Northeast Current. Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Telly Award-winning Northeast Current. I'm your host today, Tony Schwartz, and we've got a really great show for you today. I'm excited about this show. You know, over the years, if you've been watching, you've seen me in this chair as a host. Other times, you've seen me in the other chair as a guest because I'm one of the co-founders of the Lakeside Players. And we're here today to talk about the Lakeside Players because I'm excited to say that the Lakeside Players are starting their 15th season this year. So that in itself is a big deal. But to take it one step further, in all those 15 years, we've done a lot of comedies, we've done a lot of dramas, but we've never done a musical until now. We're happy to say that the Lakeside Players has found somebody right in our own backyard who's just moved around here recently, and she's got an extensive background in theater and musicals, and she found us, and we're so glad she did, and approached us about doing our first musical in our 15th year. So I would like to introduce to you Tori Clemens. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
All right, because I don't think we've ever discussed your last name before.
No, I don't think we have.
So Tori Clemens, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And welcome to the Lakeside Players as well.
Thank you very much.
Before we get into Nunsense, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I was a performing arts teacher for 17 years in the state of New Jersey.
In the public school system?
In the public school system, performing arts high schools, middle school, and a charter school. And we decided to move to Pennsylvania, which was a culture shock for me to move from New Jersey to Pennsylvania. But while I was in New Jersey, I also owned a theatrical production company, Triple Threat Productions. So I had to say goodbye to that and move. I couldn't commute 2 hours to do that every day. And so I moved with my 2 children and my husband and my mother and my father-in-law up here, whole happy family. And I can't be away from theater. My goal this year was to sit back, relax, and do nothing for a year and just take care of the family and explore what it's like not having to work for a living. And it really didn't get very far.
I was going to say, how long did you actually get into that year?
Maybe a few months. And then I just said, you know, once you're involved in theater and it's your passion and you're passionate about what you do, you don't want to be away from it. And I started researching different theatrical companies, and that's how I found you.
And we're glad you did. Why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the shows that you've done already in the past?
In the past, I've put on many Shakespearean productions. I've written a few adaptations of Shakespeare plays that were produced at Paper Mill Playhouse's Junior Playhouse, as well as I directed it for the Women's Festival at the Apollo Theater a few years ago. I've directed big musicals like Bye Bye Birdie. I've directed small plays like Breaking Legs.
And I was in Breaking Legs. I was Uncle Mike. I love that show.
So I've done a little bit of everything. I've choreographed. I've done lighting. My thing is sound. When I'm not directing or in a show, I like working with the soundboard. I find that fascinating. Mm-hmm. So I've done a little bit of everything. Shakespeare is my ultimate passion. I always say if he was alive today, we'd be BFFs. I know anything and everything I can about Shakespeare.
Really?
Yeah, if I was to get my doctorate, because I have my MFA, if I was to go, I was going to continue in Shakespearean studies. So that's my true love. But I love musicals and I love all types of drama. So I've directed pretty much everything. I think my most favorite musical I directed was Once Upon a Mattress, mm-hmm. so far to date, other than Nunsense.
And you act.
And I act. I haven't acted since 2010. The last show I was in was Music Man. Okay. So this is also my theatrical acting debut in Northeast Pennsylvania. So it's fun. It's interesting. I enjoy it. And I enjoy meeting different people and working with different people. And I've met some really great people so far. So I'm really excited. Good.
Good for you. All right. So you approached Lakeside about doing Nunsense, which some walls did go up for Lakeside, right? I mean, we didn't say no,
right?
Because we've always had it in the back of our head, maybe someday we would do it. But you know, Lakeside for a lot of years has surrounded itself with comedic type of people or people that like to do dramas, and we didn't really have any singers and dancer type people in our little ensemble group. So, you know, musicals were kind of not out of the question, but way on one of those back burners somewhere. So when you approached us about it, we said, well, how are we going to pull this off? Because we don't have that kind of people.
Right.
But you came in with a game plan, and it's working for you, isn't it?
I think so. I mean, when I first approached you about I'd be interested in helping or directing, whatever you wanted me to do,
I got the broom out.
I'll sweep. I've done that. I've done worse. I've picked up garbage and cleaned bathrooms. It's fine. But I thought of Nunsense because it's a small ensemble cast. It's only women, and it's 5 women. And if you had to do a musical, it's tangible. It's financially tangible. And to get 5 women together, of course I didn't know anybody up here except for you at that point, but I didn't think it would be that hard to get a group of singers together. And I think it's going I'm very excited about it. I think it's going well. We have 5 very different personalities, and it totally fits. You walk into a rehearsal, you could tell everybody's personality and what they bring to the table. And I've laughed at every rehearsal so far. I think we've all laughed at every rehearsal.
Now you're in the show as
Yes.
well as directing.
Yes.
And that's tough to do. I've done that quite a few times, but not everybody can do that. They can't see themselves or what's going on when they're up there.
Right.
So that's an accomplishment in itself. But you're acting in the show, so there's 4 other women. And the other interesting thing about it is, now anybody who comes to Lakeside shows often sees familiar faces. It's not that we don't get new people, but we've had a lot of people with us for a lot of years, and so there always seem to be in our shows. Not so this time. I mean, we do have our veteran, Veronica Deisler. A lot of you know her as Ronnie, and you may not know this. You know, when our first show was Sylvia 15 years ago, and when Mary Lou and I were first starting, we had to find some actors in the area. Ronnie was the very first person we found and talked to that agreed to be in our first show, and Ronnie's still with us today, 15 years later. And she's been a major asset to Lakeside. And as you can see, I mean, Ronnie's...
Yeah, she's a lot of fun to work with.
She's a lot of fun to work with. But Ronnie's the only original...
I guess so.
I guess original's not the word, but former previous
Right.
Lakeside player. Everybody else is new in the cast to the Lakeside
Yeah.
players. So who's the other folks in the show?
We have Ginny Hack, who actually is a member of my church and had done a lot of acting in New York prior to moving to Pennsylvania. Excellent person to be around, smart as a whip, is picking up everything very, very fast, faster than I can throw it at her. We have Victoria Barcarola, who's a voice teacher actually in Honesdale, who lives in the community I live in. So I had heard that she sang and that she was a voice teacher, so I approached her. So that's a good fit because it's helpful to have a voice teacher in the cast that could warm us up before every rehearsal.
Sure.
And help with the music. And then Amanda, actually I found through your wife. And she's playing our novice, and she's excellent. She's a soprano and she taps, and so I really lucked out. And then Ronnie as Mother Superior is working out great. So I think we have a really nice cast. We have all good chemistry when we're working together. So that's hopefully going to show when we perform on stage.
And Ronnie doesn't have to tap, I hear.
No, she doesn't. She was very adamant about not having to, and she was so happy that she doesn't have to.
Someday, and she will shoot me for this, I will show you the clip of her doing a dance on Golden Pond when she was Ethel.
Oh, okay.
And now she's already angry at me if she's watching. So, sorry, Ronnie. So it sounds like a great cast that you've put together. How about for the folks at home who, they may have heard of the title, but they have no idea what this show is about? So
Nunsense is about an order of nuns, the Little Sister of Hoboken, and they run a school next to the convent. And it just so happens that one of their sisters made this lovely vichyssoise soup one day, and 48 of the nuns died of botulism. So all of these nuns died, and they gathered enough money by selling greeting cards to bury most of the nuns, but they had 4 nuns remaining, and they didn't know what they were going to do. So they decided to put on a little show to raise funds to bury the last 4 sisters that are still in the freezer. of the convent. And so all the nuns get together to put on this show. The Mother Superior picks 4 nuns or 5 nuns to put on a show for an audience to try to raise money to bury these nuns. So it's all about the life in the convent and what roles each of the nuns play, from the novice to the one who gets overlooked, to Sister Mary Amnesia, who actually lost her memory when she got hit in the head with a crucifix. So you learn a lot about the 5 characters on stage and their personalities by them trying to perform for an audience. And there's a lot of audience participation in the show.
Now, someone at home hearing all this may be saying, this sounds like a show that's making fun of the Catholic Church or Catholic nuns, but that's not the case.
I don't
It's having
think
fun
so.
with the
Oh,
Catholic Church and
definitely.
the nuns, not making fun
Definitely.
of the church at all, right?
And it's referred to in the script. I think when Dan Goggin wrote it, he wrote that the jokes, that if you are Catholic, you totally get it. But even if you're a non-Catholic watching it, you're going to understand it. I'm not Catholic myself, I'm Methodist.
Me too,
But
but we'll get it.
I married a Catholic, but you'll get it. And I don't think it's all offensive to Catholics. I think if anybody comes to watch it, they're going to be like, oh, I had a teacher like that. My husband said, his teachers always, the first thing they do is smack his hand with a ruler, you know. So, and there's a scene where Mary Amnesia has to be firm with the audience. So I don't think it's in poor taste at all. I think it's a lot of fun, and it's a show that I think is very family friendly because there's nothing bad in it that anybody can see. I feel comfortable having my kids go see it. So I think it's a good show for anybody.
Where's the show going to be?
It's going to be at Grace Episcopal Church in Holmesdale.
Right on Church
On
Street,
Church Street.
corner of Church and 9th. I know where that is. Grace Episcopal, corner of Church and 9th. How about the dates?
May 16th and 17th. There's 2 shows on the 17th. So the 16th at 7:30. The 17th we have a show at 2 p.m. and at 7:30.
Oh, okay. So normally, I know you did Sunday afternoon matinees, but this time you're doing 2 shows in one day.
2 shows in one
Saturday
day.
afternoon matinee at 2, 7:30, and Saturday evening 7:30 the
7:30.
night before Friday.
Yes.
Okay. And I know for a fact that if people want more information, they can go to our website, which is appearing right about there, right about now, www.lakesideplayers.net. I'll tell you again, it's www.lakesideplayers.net. Or you can call 570-226-6207. That's 570-226-6207 for more information or for reservations. So come on out and see Tori and the other 4 nuns, the Good Sisters of Hoboken, in their musical production of Nunsense, the very first musical for the Lakeside Players. I'm going to be there. I'm not in it, but I'm going to be there, and I hope you'll be there too. And we hope you come right back here for more of Northeast Current right after these messages.